These men do not love their children. In a heartbeat, they will use their own child to get back at their partner or ex-partner, to control their partner or ex-partner. And this is honestly my biggest fear, because someone very close to me has a child with an abusive man that she shares custody with. And my biggest fear is that in order to control her or get back at her, he will try to harm this child. But yet this man is still fighting for full custody. He actually, if it were up to him, he would have full custody, meaning he would have complete control over the child, and through that, its mother. When we need them, like, I need you to actively parent, I need you to help me with domestic labor, I need you to XYZ. When we need them, they're nowhere to be found. But when we want nothing more than to be rid of them, than to be rid of the abuse, be rid of the control, and just get on with our lives, they won't leave. I've been having a discussion on this app for a couple days last week with Lorraine, one of my mutuals. And Lorraine is great. I love her. But we've been having a discussion. I've been trying to kind of work out in my head which arrangement is more exacting. Is it more, does it give a man the opportunity to control you more if you marry him versus having a child with him? I would say marriage gives a certain amount of control. Absolutely. And depending on the state you live in, if you want to divorce a man, you have to live separately with them for a certain amount of time before you can even file. If you are married to a man and you are pregnant at the time, you cannot divorce this man in some cases until after the baby is born or until a certain waiting period, blah, blah, blah. But I still think that as dangerous as marriage is, as to just marry a man for a woman, having a child with them is worse. It's worse, because when you're married to someone and you don't have children with them, once you're physically away from them, once you're divorced from them, they're out of your lives and you never have to deal with them again. But if you have a child with them, assuming they don't disappear off the face of the earth and, totally abandon the child and want nothing to do with them, you will have to deal with that man for the rest of your life. Even after the child reaches the age of majority, there's going to be family events. Your child might get married. Your child might have a child. And if that man keeps sticking around just enough to cause you problems, he could do that legally forever. You won't be rid of that man until one of you dies. And that is a situation I never wanted. Once I learned how expensive children are, and I really understood how the United States of America, and probably most Western nations to a certain extent, does not value the labor of birthing children and taking care of children, does not value the labor that women do mostly for free to bring that child into the world and care for them and see them into adulthood, I don't want anything to do with that. I only do labor that my society values, and my society values paid labor. The paid labor that I do at that computer right over there, and sometimes in an office. That's what the world values, so that's what I do. But the labor that is necessary for this country to function, i.e. the unpaid domestic labor and the labor of giving our bodies to produce the next generation, that is the labor that this country values the least. Think about that. It is the labor that is valued the least, but it is the most necessary labor, and it is the labor that puts that particular woman in the most danger. And think about that. The labor that is the least valued in this country that women do, the unpaid labor, least valued, but it's the most important and it's the most dangerous for us. If you want to have a child, if you feel your life will not be complete without having a child, if the thing you've wanted most in the world, more than a career, more than traveling, more than anything else in the world, those are the only circumstances under which you can have a child. If you can't possibly imagine your life without raising a child, that is the only circumstance you should have a child, and you should never have it with a man. Maybe adopt a child on your own if that's something that you want to do. Foster a child if that's something you want to do and you feel like you're psychologically and financially up for. Or get a sperm donor. We have to start rethinking the entire way that we raise children, because this kind of shit is way too dangerous, both for us and for the children in question.